Hi friends, turn off a couple fans with me. I'm wearing my favorite outfit, which is whatever I'm wearing plus a bunch of sawdust. I've got Ear Pro in and I got fans on left and right. So I'm gonna pull off my Ear Pro and talk about glue with you guys. I was just doing some board cutting here, and you guys know that things changed for me. Okay, I think I'll speak more eloquently if I take off my Ear Pro. Things changed for me a while ago when I shut down my op and I became more of an R&D outfit than an aggressive workshop. So my whole workshop deal is less aggressive now than it was. I was putting out 20 boards a day, and my numbers were rising every month, which is great. It's a great time to quit being your own business when you're just starting to get successful. Believe me, that's how I felt about it. What a bummer. But now I'm in here and I fart around with, you know me, one of my favorites is like, oh, what's the worst skateboard I could make, you know? So if you caught my earlier video today, it's not really a making video, but I was stirring up some glue, and I like to mix white glues with Titebond and fart around and see how they work and see what the properties are and like that. But I was just here working on this board, and this board is interesting to me tonight, and I hope the phone will stay, because the glue lines on this, as with most of the stuff that comes out of my press, they're just sick glue lines. And I was, cutting this. This is just the rough rounding I'm doing with my my laminate trimmer. I rough round them. I don't use the same aggression on this phase, but I was cutting this board. This is a prototype board that's I'm gonna play with, and I don't know if you saw earlier that I've been doing a repair on my scallop board. This is the way scallop boards fail. It's not a failure at all. The thing is awesome and I love it, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. But working on this, I just was looking at these luxuriant glue lines on here and thinking about some of the conversation we have in the Makers Movement, especially lately. We've been talking about molds and mold making, which is great. The more we talk about that, the better. And I have continually found myself in a place of challenging some of the CW, the conventional wisdom, on molds. I have seen ground zero lots of problems with offset molds, but don't get me wrong, okay? The reason my molds don't have offsets in them is and I'm not against offsets in molds, especially if they're working, but I've got these just like flippin' gorgeous glue lines, and this one is made with a combination of super old Titebond 2 and white glue, which is a PVA. It's a PVA like Titebond, but it's white glue that froze. And it's not just any white glue. This was Amazon $9 per gallon white glue, all right? And I mixed them up together and they curdled like bad milk. And I just whipped them until they were smooth again and rolled them on these boards. And this has been curing in my workshop, this deck. And it's one of a batch that warped, and I thought, oh, they're warped, it's terrible, and I set them aside, about 6 boards. I came back to them today. They'd sat for like months. That is not warped. That's not warped. The I-beam is straight. There is a high side in this one, but it's not a warp. And that's killing me. The high side I can explain another time. It's a little bit embarrassing. It is indeed because my molds are not perfectly symmetrical in their vectors because I made them by hand. So I have to tend to belly them one side over a little bit to get that high side right and balance it with the hips. I felt embarrassed about that for some time until I went into a skate shop and pulled down a bunch of boards and saw that my little high siding problem on my molds is like just the beginning of the story on incredible mold imperfections. So I started to chill and just kept making sick ass sleds, you know. But these glue lines are mine, stacking 3 deep, 21 sheets, 3 deep at a time into mirror molds that I cast in plaster. And here's a plaster cast down here. Can you guys see on the floor right there? That's a plaster cast. It sticks out on the other side. That's one of my plaster masters, master blasters. That's one of my plaster masters. It's got all kinds of dust and truck on it. But that is a master of my concave, ready for modification through addition or subtraction anytime I want to make a mess. And I am advocating for all of you guys to all of you who fit a certain profile, if you feel intimidated by the mathematics, to fart around with plaster casting and making molds in that caveman style, because right now I could take that piece of plaster, I could smooth it, tweak it, change it into a whole new concave in about a weekend. It's insane. For the cost of a bag of plaster, I could have that thing made into a whole new concave, whatever I'm feeling like. Spoon nose, tri-tail, I can do whatever I want with the thing. And then the same weekend, I can, for the cost of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bags of concrete, 10 call it. That's about $60 in concrete. I can have that casted and have those castings popped and into a little bit of remesh, popped and put into kiddie pools, and curing for 2 weeks, and have a set of molds for 4 more presses, all in a weekend's work, plus cure time in the pools, and then put them to work, backed with wood, with remesh inside them, in presses, and I could have 4 more presses up and running in the cost of a weekend's time, plus cure time, and I don't have to do 2 weeks in the kiddie pool. A lot of that is mythology as well, and you know, I'm a big advocate among you for, because I've been what I hear is this. I hear like, oh man, you know, if you don't have offsets in your molds, you're gonna have terrible glue lines. And I even had, and I don't remember who it was, and whoever said it, I'm not in any way intending to disparage you. It is your point of view and your opinion that I wish to disparage. It is not true that if I cut apart one of my boards, I will find terrible glue lines because I don't have offsets. That is not the truth. The truth is that the glue lines are sick. They're sick. And the compression is super, super good in my work. And I didn't do it this way because I'm smart. I did it this way because I'm too dumb to figure out what the offsets should be. And I just troubleshot a bunch of molds that had offsets that weren't working because the offsets were too deep, but the offsets were all mathematically right. But the maple wasn't doing what the offsets told them they're supposed to. So a restacking had to happen and a reapproach had to happen. And all of the promise of all of the mathematicals was null and void in the face of boards that were not coming out well. And I run into this a lot as I help people troubleshoot their stuff. And I'm like, dude, the simple way is making just sick planks and pressing 3 at a time. You know, right now I'm on Titebond 2 and I prefer to leave it in for 12 hours. 10 hours would be fine. But I've popped Titebond 2 out at 4 hours and gotten bomber decks. bomber quality. It is a more flexible board than some of the others, but I even have one sitting here that was absolutely abused and made with the absolutely crappiest wood. This is it. This was made with the crappiest wood. It is light. It's a 9.2 popsicle. Punk point, and it got wailed on, left out in the rain. It went through 3 or 4 owners. The first 2 were team riders who just beat the heck out of it. The first one was me, then 2 team riders, then a kid in the neighborhood, and then given back to me after being waterlogged and everything. And it is still, as I throw it on the floor and step on it, it's still really, really flexy, but strong and just super. And it was waterlogged all to heck, ridden in the rain. What is it? Rode hard and put up wet. I keep this board around because it's got knot holes all through the front half of it. It's got splices and cracks, and you can see the cracking. I mean, I've done this board a million times. Still looking at no offsets, mirror molding. Now, maybe the reason I'm so successful with this is because my mold relies on a lot of curve instead of flat, fold, and then flat. Now, here's one. Now, this is Greg Pravasnik, and Greg is on here, I think. Hi, Greg. This is a flat fold flat concave that is absolutely amazing. Okay, look at the sharp folds there. Maybe the reason that I have this perspective is because I don't have folds in my concaves. My concaves are curves. Is one superior to the other? I have an opinion about that, but my opinion is no, one is not superior to the other. Skateboards are a system of levers and fulcrums, and this has got levers and fulcrums that you may enjoy this much more than you enjoy something that has much more mellow and subtle curve in it. You may enjoy subtle curves more than you enjoy flat fold flats. But I'll tell you this, one thing that this one has that most flat fold flats don't have, it has curve in its nadir for strength. That curve gives it stronger strength, and it's got great depth in it as well. And so I don't know if this mirror molding idea works for flat fold flats, because I don't make those. Even my long mold, here's one that I rode hard. This is my long mold. It's much more mellow and much longer than my standard mold, but still, you see, I've got gentle curves. And also, I'm a weirdo. My tails kick more extremely than my noses do. I'm a weirdo that way. I saw that, Greg, you made one where you reversed it so your tail kicks more, and I thought, I'm weird. But I wanted to share these glue lines with you guys because, darn it, if mirrored molding isn't working like a charm for me, I understand if it doesn't work like a charm for you, that there might be something to offsets, but I have watched the mathematically equationed offsets not working. And I would like to warn you, before you invest a lot in a more highfalutin offset concept, and you listen to a bunch of people or trust a bunch of software, that you dig in and work in some material and try to figure out a mirror mold, because your cost on a mirror mold can be as little as, like, let me think here, $20 in concrete, $20 in plaster. I mean, really, a little bit of remesh or chicken wire. I've used chicken wire before, and some wood to back it. I mean, you're really not breaking $100 on farting around for a weekend with some stuff. But if that doesn't work for you and you go for it, go for it. God bless. Seriously, no problem with that. Just only, wow, guys, I don't know what to say. I wish you all tremendous success, however you figure out to make it. 1990, 1,990. Is that how long you've been skating in numbers of years, Greg? And because I've been skateboarding for 4,024 years. So All right, friends, I'm gonna unleash from you and get back to. Actually, I'm gonna put this up for the night. Roll some glue for this week, and get ready for. We're having a busy week over here. So thanks for joining me, Makers Movement. Appreciate you all. Can't wait to talk to you soon. Peace, guys.